not fine guys. These tall guys that were always, But we finished school, we went home, and actually before we finished school, we had an encounter first at the library, and I just called him. He passed by me, and I called him and said, "Hey, you Sunky Swags, right?" Because that was his Twitter handle then, and I said, "You Sunky Swags, right?" He said yes, and I told him, "Oh, I'm one of your followers, blah blah blah," and that was how that went. And then the second time we met was at the bus stop in school, and nothing more, just hey, hi, bye, how is exam going, and that was it. And then we went home after school, and we got talking, and we're here.
And the rest, they say, is history. So your own version.
Oh, that's true. So yeah,
Sorry, she didn't want to tell us she started her Unimo. I noticed that too.
I did not.
I hear you. Good evening, good evening, I'm back. Good evening, Nesty Queen. Amarachi, thank you all for joining.
So we met. We actually let me say, we knew each other in school, right? I didn't know her, of course. She knew me because, of course, I was an usher in our fellowship. I didn't even know she was a member of our fellowship, to be honest. But because she was very low-key, and I was out there, right? And I was also kind of popular in school, so everybody knew me.
Some swags.
Then I followed her on Twitter. We actually met on Twitter. Really, I'd say that's one of the good things of social media.
Yeah.
Everybody says what the ills of it. We met on Twitter, and of course I was in her DMs trying to talk to her. That was when she was like, "I know you."
Who got into each other's DMs?
He came into my DM.
Okay.
And then she told me that she knew. That was the first time she said, "Oh, I know you. You attend my fellowship." And I was like, "Oh, really? I didn't even know that." And but that was that. It was just a random conversation. So, like she said, we met in the library a little while after that, and then she was like, "Oh, that was you," and I was like, "Oh, that's you." And then that was the first time we ever met, and we talked for a few minutes, and then she kept going and going. We were not trying to date. We're not asking each other out. None of that. We're just talking, being chill. And then fast forward again, maybe like months or whatever, we ran into each other, like she said, about the bus stop. We said, "What's up?" At the time, she did have a boyfriend in school that they had been dating for a while. I think, yeah, she did.
It's you.
So, but me, I was not even.
You do not have a girlfriend.
Me, I was,
You do not have a girlfriend.
I was just coming to do my own academics.
You
like
don't have
they sent me to school.
girlfriends.
No, I didn't have anything. Nah.
I hear you.
So, like you said, and I think we actually started communicating a lot more after school. We didn't get talking throughout period of school, and then after school there was this period where we were waiting for NYSC and all this, and then that was when we really started communicating. We started talking, and that was because we met in around 2010, and that was around 2011. That's when we started dating, and then we did it for about 6 months before she relocated to the US. Yeah, that's the brief story.
Okay, that's the long and short of it. It's a boy meets girl, girl meets boy. Girl, I boy first.
No.
Boy.
Yeah, that beef, whatever beef that she said she had for me and my friends, I don't even understand that beef.
Yeah, I understand the kind of
Me, I don't.
You be like, with the
simple example. That was what the beef was.
I understand
Because
the
they will
beef
wear suit and tie, come to church.
I'm like, they're feeling themselves too much. Like they're the next best thing to slice bread.
Exactly.
And they really are not.
Exactly, they are not.
They are not. Okay. Okay, we are showing ourselves. Okay, so now let's move on to the next question. How long have you guys been married?
We're going to be 8 years in November.
How did you propose?
That is another story. So, I went for my mom's birthday 2014, and I stopped by, just to see him after being dating for, I think that was almost 2 years of us dating, but it was long distance because we weren't in the same state. Yes. So I went over to see him, and we went out to eat. And I got the ring.
So how did you start dating? Because you guys left that part out.
Oh yeah.
How did you guys start?
Extra cool.
Huh?
Oh yeah, that's true.
MTN
We did extra cool for. You remember? Do you remember extra cool?
Yeah,
Yeah, we did that for 12:30 to 4:30 every night.
Every night.
Yeah,
We
the
always
phone
did,
video.
we always did
Free
that.
call.
Yep.
Freak up.
Every
They
night.
We
even
didn't have a job,
toasted
man.
you with freak up.
We didn't have a job. Then we had finished school. We're waiting for NYC, so we had time, ample time on
So
our
you
hands.
will lose sleep.
So
You
we'll
will
sleep. No, we'll sleep in the daytime and then
And chat
call
in
at
the
night.
night.
Yeah. So really, it was really after school. We finished and started talking every single day, and then boom, it just happened. We started dating. But yeah, I proposed, right? The proposing, I think, is the same story. Like she said, she came by. I took her to. She didn't know, of course, she was gonna get the ring. I already had that all planned out, and it was a nice, very nice, beautiful restaurant. You know, I had it all planned out with them. It was
And we're the
nice.
only ones in
And we're the only ones. We shut it down. You know, of
Oh,
course, we had to go.
yeah,
We had to go big. Now, I
mic
mean,
drop.
yeah, we had to go big. We shut it down. You know, and there were a lot of guys, you know, set on this standby to take pictures. We had a photographer. We had, you know, it was good. And I
Did
proposed.
you go on business?
Yes.
Oh.
Oh,
I did.
okay.
I'm a
Like a
modern
gentleman.
gentleman.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, so now let's be a little bit serious. So, statistically, we've been told that the first 5 years of marriage are the most difficult. So I'm going to ask you, Daddy, your first 5 years of marriage, what are the challenges that you guys faced?
I agree. So for us, I think it was even more difficult because we've never stayed like in the same place for a long time together. We've always had this long distance relationship, like even when we're just dating. So the very first day was really difficult, to be honest, because it's like we just started dating because I didn't know him so much. He didn't know me so much. We've never even
Been in
been
close
in
proximity
exactly
with
for
each
that
other.
long. So getting to know each other, being married, getting to know each other, living in the same household together was really difficult. It was really, I think the first year, the very first 5 years actually, it was difficult. But I think one thing that helped us out was the fact that we weren't really ready to let go. We tried. We had our parents that they were also telling us, you guys have to just keep trying. As long as there wasn't any form of domestic violence.
Yeah, there was no abuse.
There was no abuse in the marriage. It was just getting to know each other, getting to, this is what I like, you need to know what I like, I need to know what you like.
Understanding each other.
Understanding,
basically.
exactly. The
Yeah.
communication, putting everything together to work was, I think, it was really difficult at first, but we thank God where we're at right now.
Glory to Jesus. Thank God. But I like what you just said about the intentionality behind it all and the willingness to fight through it. Because the truth of the matter is, when two people are coming from two separate lives, the synergy is really not there at the start. It's usually a struggle. You have to fight through it.
Yeah.
You have to now keep talking to yourself to walk through it. So let me ask you, Sukomi, what was your own opinion of your first 5 years of marriage?
I think that the very first thing that I would say about this was because we were very, you know how they say opposites attract. Yes, they do attract, but opposites also need, some part of physics and chemistry and all the good things in life for it to work, right? Yeah. We're coming from different worlds, right? As much as, like she said, we went to the same school, we had so much commonality in terms of, our ideas, in terms of where we wanted to be, our future plans, all the good stuff. We had a lot of differences. And one of those differences was our personality. I'm the outgoing person. She's the inward person. She wants to be inside all the time and all that. So there was that problem. There was a problem of friends. There was a problem of, and like she said, and like she said, our parents helped because, like she had mentioned, we didn't have a regular relationship / courtship because of the distance. So our parents kept reminding us that because, I'm not gonna lie and say we were perfect. Like there was times that we both said we were done. There was times that even till now my dad makes jokes about it all the time. Now, are you guys still done? And we're just about to done. Because there's times that we didn't actually make steps to be done, but we actually said it. We've had loud fights. And I feel like we just grew into the roles of understanding that okay, this is who this person is, and this is who I am, and we have to find a balance.
Mhm.
You cannot always have your way.
Yeah.
I'm very stubborn.
Thank you. He admitted.
Very, very
Yeah,
detailed.
you know, so it was hard for me to understand, you know, not always having my way.
Your way.
You know, listening to somebody else's, you know, opinions and stuff. Yeah, so yeah, it was a growth period, and I would say we actually did get married, you know, comparatively to the rest of our friends. We got married pretty early. We got married in our mid to late 20s. You know, very untypical of somebody like me with the kind of life
Yes.
I've lived. Everybody would think I would get married in my 40s or whatever. So.
Yeah, get married older, get married now.
So yeah, it was
Because of
hard.
the kind of lifestyle we are used to.
Yeah,
So
so-
most likely you were not at that age where you're really ready to
Yeah,
settle
we
down.
weren't. I wasn't particularly mature per se to say I was marriage ready. So we had to go through that process together, and you know,
It was tough.
yeah, it was. It was.
Did you guys go through any form of counseling? Did you do any counseling?
No.
Not officially, but I mean, my mom is as much a counselor
Yes,
as we could
not-
have gotten.
Yeah.
You know, my mom is actually a marriage counselor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like she gets paid for it in her free
Okay.
time. Yeah, so she did a lot of sessions with us, unofficially, of course. Our parents, my parents, you know, a little bit of. We're lucky and blessed to have, you know, 4 people that were on our side, and
Yes.
we, you know, and we had to do that.
Walking through it
Yeah.
with you.
Yeah.
All right, that's good. Thank you for sharing that. And so there was something you said that I could deduce from the both of you. Yes, you had an unconventional courtship because you were apart. I think I had that with my ex-husband. We were like miles on my. It was I was in Nigeria, so it contributed to whatever happened. So now my question is, at what point did you guys now decide to say, okay, let's do all we can to make this work? Was there something in particular that happened, something that is like the catalyst? What was it? Did something happen, or you guys just?
I'll let her go first.
For me, although during those years of fighting and trying to get ourselves together with the challenges, although I always say, okay, you know what, I'm done. Like we say with just the words of mouth, but there was no seriousness in me saying, okay,
There was no follow through.
no. So it was one and one only for me right from the beginning. I wasn't. My parents are together. They, you know, I didn't have that background of maybe if I get divorced, I'll be alright. So I've always pictured myself to be at home with my husband, with my kids, and I just know, okay, if it's not, like I said, if it's not any form of domestic violence, we'll make it work. That my one thing, and I always, okay, no, let me go back. Before we got married, I told him there are only 2 things that will make me walk out of this marriage. 1, if you ever lay hands on me. 2, if you ever, you know, talk back at my parents and any of my family members. Those 2 things I will not take from anybody. If you ever mention it, that's it. So I had that at the back of my mind. Okay, this guy has not done any of those 2. So, you know, maybe we can still make it work. So we just kept pushing and praying and, you know, working through it. And I think it worked out for us, honestly.
Okay. Thank you so much. What about you, Sukomi? Was there a catalyst?
I wouldn't particularly, I'm the very first person that will tell you that there's no conventional way to go about marriage. You can't say, all right, this is one size fits all or whatever. Like, it worked for us doesn't mean it's going to work for anybody else. But I'll say that the very first thing that I really realized that got us to the point where we felt strong was when we got pregnant with our very first, with my daughter. Because up until then, we'd been married for about 4 years before we even had our first child. Up until then, it didn't seem serious. You know, it was more like, it was serious. You know, like seriously, it was. But it was like, all right, whatever happens, if you ever decide to
you
leave,
felt you were playing home.
yeah. I mean, no, really, we just felt like if you ever decided to leave, it would be,
easy.
you
Nothing
know,
is
I'll pack
holding
my
you
bags
back.
and I'm out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was the very first time that, you know, we felt something bigger than us was in play. You know, now, okay, we need to keep all this nonsense aside and we have a life that we're creating. And I felt like the birth of my daughter was very pivotal in getting us to that, next step, in understanding that, okay, whatever happens, now we're stuck together forever.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, like there's a
Yeah.
there's a mini me
Yeah.
now, and you need to see his daughter is actually mini me. So there's a mini me now. So I can't just be a boy anymore.
Yes.
I need to grow up and be a man. And I know I'm trying shade at super.
Yes.
Take it.
But you'd also see a lot of people that say that kids or having, if you say, oh yeah, I'm just gonna tie this man down and get pregnant for
Oh,
him.
yeah.
It doesn't work like that all the
Yeah.
time. That's why I said it's not
Yeah.
one size fits all.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Yeah.
work for everybody.
It depends on the individual,
Yeah.
the parties involved. I know, I'll use pregnancy to time down. I just premium tears. But at times, I always tell people there are some core values and characters you need to look in people that you need to find. I'm glad she set up some boundaries for herself. She told herself, this is where you cannot cross. If we cross this place, we are done. But then the thing is, most women at times don't even look out for anything in particular. You don't look out for anything in particular. You just want to keep trying and keep trying and keep trying and keep trying. Let me see what I can take. Let me see what I cannot take. And at times it doesn't end up well for you as a woman. So kudos to you for actually putting those caveats down right from the get-go. Yeah. And then one other thing about character is I tell people your core values need to align. Your core values need to align, because having a child or not, there's some people that will be like, hey, I'll just be in the fat baby's life, Abby. I don't need to be married to you, I will still be in the baby's life. But it takes someone that is actually responsible to say, okay, now there is a third party involved. It takes someone that think of the fact that it's not just about us anymore. So I'd say this is my own opinion. I'm not saying go and do that. She's not saying go and set whatever. We are just telling you our own views and opinion. So now I think we've talked about how you guys were able to overcome it. But then I think most times being able to overcome your challenges is tailored according to the challenges you're facing, right? So now, if you have a couple that is facing like a problem that is like maybe a generic problem, that might be, okay, this couple, maybe like the economy is affecting everybody. It's not just peculiar. So what kind of advice, or even someone that is going through what you guys are going through, maybe a newly married couple that are going through the challenges of coming together like you guys had, what would be your advice for them?
I'll also let her go first.
Okay, for me, I would say just know the reason why you got into that marriage in the first place. Like, why did you end up with that person? Did you just end up because of convenience, or was there something that you saw in that person? And just keep going back to it and let that be your reason, and just push through. And also, most importantly, pray. Because I prayed. Because of this man right here. I prayed. I actually had a place in our closet. There was
like
a time,
room.
that I would just write something on a sticky note and just put it there. And then it got to a point where we're having our challenges, and I'm like, you know what, all these things, go away, I'm not praying again. But I actually had to go back. So I'll just say, pray. Pray, and I pray God will see you through.
Amen. Thank you so much for that, Jade. Okay, so come.
Okay, I'm not gonna toe the line of prayer. I'll just go with.
How am I not surprised?
I'm just gonna go with practicality in terms of what you can do. I'd say the very first thing is there has to be a reason why you guys came. Like you said, that first point, there has to be a reason why you guys came together. I think you gotta search. You gotta go back inside of you and search out that reason, right? Dreams have to align. Because in all your fighting, in all your disagreements, if your bigger dreams don't align, maybe a divorce would not really be a bad option, to be honest. Because now you're already battling the process of getting together from different families, different personalities. Now, if you also have to battle with the process of, well, I see life differently from the way my partner sees life, that's even worse. So I feel like you need to go back to why you guys are together, what the plan is, what the was your goal, And in doing that, it gives you a purpose. It gives you a reason to stay. It gives you a reason to say, okay, yeah, I want to fight through this. It gives you a reason to feel like there has to be, because for everybody, there's always options, right?
Yeah.
Before you get married to work for, to one person, you had somebody else you were dating.
Especially for people like Sam Kiswad.
Yes,
Nah, even her, like everybody, you have somebody. So you have to be. There's a reason why this person was the person I chose. That's why you're fighting.
Yeah.
And that's that reason that keeps you going. Regardless of anything else. It doesn't always have to be having children. It might be just the fact that this person sees life the way I see it, and because of that, I want to fight for them.
Wow.
So.
Thank you so much. So yes, there is a spiritual aspect, but there is also the practical aspect. Like, why am I with this person? Why did I decide on this person? Even though I was throwing shade at Sukanmi for like having a lot of options, I know she too had a lot of options. But then she said, I prayed for this man. So why am I praying for this man? Why can't I just say, there will be other men? Anyway, thank you both. Because, seriously, at times you don't think of things like that. I think it still goes back to looking at why. That's why I said at the beginning of the show that when you're going through a rough patch, at times it's good to reel yourself in and just reminisce. Like, why am I with this person? Is it that this person is all bad? The person might be misbehaving now, but was this person like this when we got together? Just go back and just flash back and just, re-emphasize the reasons why you both choose each other.
Right.
All right, thank you so much. So now I know you guys have 3 kids now, right? Yes. So I want to ask you this question: do you guys clash in parenting? Was that a challenge as well?
I would say.
Or is that still a challenge? Because you guys have.
Not really. I think for the key things, the important things, I think we're one voice, but. There's some things, there's some exceptions because my daughter is very,
yes.
We know fathers and their daughters.
My daughter is very close to me, and sometimes we have some, little clashes on that. Little clashes on that, but for the most part, for the important things, I think we agree on our parenting.
True.
So you don't clash in parenting.
Well, initially we did, but then we sat down and talked to it like, okay. This is and this and this, and most especially, like you said, it was with our daughter. There are some things like just let her be. She's still let's start now.
Of course.
Let's start now. So then
I call it the father-daughter syndrome.
Yes, it's a serious syndrome.
It is a syndrome. It is something. Okay. All right. I asked that question because you see, I just used my hand to write it because someone have told me to be asking. This is the first time I'm asking the couples. Yes, because they're like, I'm guessing maybe that particular person was struggling. They were struggling with a clash in parenting.
I also think. Let me add something. I also think that roles have to be defined. In parenting, you have to be able to have the good cop and bad cop. You can't always both be the same. And somebody else, for
but
all
then
my.
Let me ask you: the good cop and bad cop, does it have to be in the presence of the kids, though?
I would say the kids eventually find out who the good cop is if they're smart. And most kids these days, they're smart enough to pick it out real quick. Sometimes you switch roles. Don't get me wrong. There's sometimes that the bad cop becomes the good cop, and then you confuse them. But typically, like for example, when it comes to, I don't spank them as much as she does. So once she spanks them, you already know they are coming to me, because then I pacify them. And then if I have to spank them, it feels like there's nowhere else to go, because she's probably going to be scolding them too. So for the most part, we know once we don't let mommy spank you, so come, let's fix it. I feel like understanding that the kids also know, that there's also going to be repercussions for their actions, because of the fact that, like I said, my daughter and I, we're very close. Whatever she does.
If she spanked your daughter in your presence, do you go in her presence and say, "Don't spank again, I don't like it"? Do you do that in the presence?
I do when my daughter leaves.
No, when she's gone, then it does like why do you have to spank her?
That's good. Because that kind of confuses the child.
Yeah.
In my own opinion, if a parent is correcting and the other one is like, "Why are you
in the presence
of the child?"
it hurts me. Don't get me wrong. but I just wait.
Of course.
You know,
Of course.
because she's such a darling. I don't see.
Yeah, right.
You know.
Yeah, because she's your mini. Yeah, she's such a darling. Yes. Anyway, all right. So, Jade, let me come to you. Let me ask you your eyes. Since you've been married, what are the things you've been enjoying in your marriage? What are the eyes for you in marriage?
Lots and lots of eyes. One, companionship,
Mm.
and two, I know someone definitely has my back, like number one.
Mm.
And the fact that even sometimes, like you said, is stubborn, but is the kind of person that if you talk to him like, okay, you know, this is what, and I'm going to say this in front of you, he listens.
Mm.
He listens.
Mm.
It might not look as if he doesn't listen at that moment, but
you
it's,
know,
you know he listens.
Mm.
So that is something that I'm grateful for. You
Mm.
know, even we might have our misunderstanding,
Mhm.
we might
Who
have our
doesn't?
challenges, but I know,
Who
okay, if
doesn't?
I tell him, see, guy, I don't like this thing, he fixes up, and then it helps around the house. It helps a lot with the kids. Is a darling. I get some surprise gifts sometimes.
Aww.
So.
Who is blushing? I don't even know where everybody went. So I just have 4 people viewing. Today is a special day. I'm not even yes, now because I can't find everybody. Nobody's
come and watch the recorded version.
Yes,
Don't worry.
no, but maybe they've all gone to do one day. It was Salah in Nigeria, so
It didn't
maybe.
matter.
Yes, so because I'm like, who else is blushing? Someone should cut me some onions. So the surprise gift. Go on, sorry, I interrupted.
No, so is a darling. Like like after those 5 years,
Yeah,
is been
Yeah.
bliss.
things are like settled,
Yes.
enjoying each other more.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow, thank you. What about you, Squam?
I would say my eyes would be, of course, companionship is the first thing. You have somebody that you're doing life with.
Yeah.
She's the mother of my children. She carried all 3 of them.
Support loan.
It was a lot. It was a lot of work. Really.
Support
She
loan.
knows how tense I was at the hospital before the babies popped out. And we have a set of twins, twin boys. So you know, I know how hard that must have been. Yeah, so I do have somebody that brought life into the world for me or with me, as the case may be. I would say I enjoyed every bit of time that we spent together because of how how it is work and life and everything. You don't spend as much time. Nobody really spends as much time as they want to, but at least the time that we have, we try to maximize it. Like I said, we have a lot of similar ideologies, so it's a lot easier to have experience our highs together. We train our kids the same way. We have the same plans and the same focus. She's a good cook. There has to be that.
Okay.
I like good food.
Okay, it's showing.
Yeah. I was really skinny back in the day.
Yes, so
These days.
now you are wonderfully made. You're wonderfully made.
There's that. She's a good communicator. There's somebody that I can reason with. She's friends with every member of my family, my mom, my siblings. She actually talks to my siblings more than I talk to them, to be honest. I'm not really a chatty person like that. Yeah, so I think for the most part, our eyes are
Been
really
able to
high.
balance.
Yeah, our eyes are high.
And your lows, because of course when we talk about that, we are going to talk about the lows. The lows.
But the lows are mainly at the beginning of our marriage. Like we've had our lows as a person and even as a couple.
So you're saying it's perfect now? Is that what you're saying?
No, perfect. There's room for improvement. There's always room for improvement. There's always room for improvement. For the most part, like
You're grateful
I
for
love
what you have now.
I love what I have right now.
That's good. That's good.
I'll say our lowest low was a period of time that we actually called the cops. We almost called the cops on each other.
Serious?
Yes.
Yeah,
But
that was back in Chicago. We lived there. It was bad. It was so bad that we almost called the cops and said, you know what, this is it. I'm gonna.
But then my dad came and our pastor back in Chicago came and we're like, okay.
That was a low low.
Yeah, that was
low.
yes.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah, that
wow.
was our first year.
And it was loud. You know how you actually have loud neighbors. I'm sure must have heard.
They
You know,
definitely,
it was one of
definitely.
those
It was an apartment complex, so
yelling, yeah.
definitely,
Oh wow.
Yeah.
definitely.
And now I would say, you know, our lows now are really our highs as compared to back then. You know? Our lows now are more of, you know, gentle misunderstandings. It's more like, okay, you offend each other, you say, well,
You're able to
you know,
take
yeah, you're about to say,
accountability.
yeah,
Yeah.
You're able to
And
do
that's-
validation.
yeah.
See, I tell people that marriage is hard work, yes, but it's really not that hard. If you are just willing to let go of what we hold on to, holding on to a particular concept of what it should be. At times, it's just accountability and validation can actually fix a lot of problems. Like, yeah, I messed up, I'm sorry. And you really, really mean that you're sorry. Oh, okay, this is the way I make you feel at that moment. Even though that was not your intention, well, you need to give that validation because that person was feeling that way at that time. Anyway, I don't want to be a marriage counselor. Don't let me get into my counseling. But thank you both so much for spending your time with us today, and we really, really celebrate the both of you. We celebrate you for going through those struggles because that's why you can actually sit down here and talk about it. You came out on the other side better.
Yes.
Like you said, you're enjoying it now. You like what you have now.
Mhm.
Even though there was a time you do not like it.
Mm-mm.
You were like, support to you. You know, support to you. Well, you did not support to you.
No.
You said, yeah.
Yeah. Thank God. Thank
Yeah.
God.
So thank you. So I want you to give your final words. I want you to advise couples, new or old, that are going through one challenges or the other. It might not be your own set of challenges. It might be financial. It might be spiritual. It might be physical. It might be career-wise. It might be, just give them an advice.
My advice would be stick to it.
Mm.
Pray. Don't. And I think one other thing most young married people get wrong is they are not being content with what they have.
Mm.
So I think you should be okay with what you have right now.
Mm.
Make do of it. Pray and communicate more.
Mm.
It's really important because
Mm.
that was like our number one problem back then. Like we weren't communicating enough. So I think you should communicate more with one another. Just know, okay, I chose this person for a reason. What is that reason? Okay, is it still a valid reason?
Mm.
Is it still what I want? And then let go to the rest.
Wow, thank you so much, Jadi. So let me come to you, you two.
Okay, so I feel like the very first thing that any young couple should particularly do is have your inner circle. Regardless of all the problems that we've had, we always had our inner circle. And by inner circle, I mean a safe space when all the drama is out of the way, where you can actually sit down and talk to each other and say, hey, you know what? This is it. This is where I'm at. This is where you are.
Where you messed up.
And that's not even only just for messing up. That's just for life, period. Like you have to have a vivid plan for how you want to structure your life and the life of your kids and even the life around your family. Your own inner circle. We used to my dad used to make jokes about how nobody can see in between what we're thinking because we put up a front, but behind that front that we're putting up, there's been extensive communication that I've gone through it. And that's like she said, the first part of it is that inner circle is important. You have to be able to sit down to say, these are our ideals, these are the things that we want to do, especially even, like you said, financial, planning money. You have money, you have to be able to say, this is our plan. We always have a plan. We always have something that we're doing. We always have a goal, and it's always in synergy. It's not, Sukwami's goals versus Jadi's goal. No, it's more like this is our goal for the year, or our goal for the next 6 months, or this is what we're saving up towards. You always have to have that because there's always going to be people that come from the outside to try to sway you or sway each party. And if you don't have a strong fit, somebody might mess up, and then once that person messes up, it messes up the entire structure of the marriage. So I would say keep an inner circle is very important. Also, I would say keep your focus in terms of your dreams and your aspirations. whilst doing that, don't be hell bent on those dreams and focus to the point where you cannot be okay, or everything is subject to change. Say, for example, we have a yearly goal, and then something more urgent came. We'll go back to that number one, which is the inner circle, and say, okay, you know what, we have an urgent need. Should we do this instead of where we are at? And they were okay, you know what, let's adjust it. Don't be hell bent on, well, we already said we're buying me a car, so we're gonna buy me a car. That's what it is.
Be
No.
flexible.
Yeah,
with
be
your
a lot more
resolution.
flexible with,
Yeah.
you know, because it's not about you, it's about us. And once you understand that it's not about one person, it gets you to that next level, you know, in your marriage. And now everything, like she had said, still goes back down to communication. And I would say finally, my advice would be that no matter what happens in the current time, there's always going to be better days. It might look like it's the worst of days. There's always going to be good days. And just hold on to the good parts. I mean, like, you know, we've been saying, there's always something that you can look back on to say, this is why I'm here.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's my advice.
Wow. Thank you both so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We appreciate both of you. And we are glad that you guys are where you are right now. And we pray you keep getting better and getting stronger, because there's really no perfect relationship. It's just the work you put in that keeps taking you to the other side. May you not lose what you have now.
Amen.
And may you not lose the courage to fight
Amen.
for each other and for your own. In Jesus' name. Thank you both so much. Thank you all for the few that joined, because I cannot see anybody. And I really don't have the time to be running after anyone. So, Amen, Esti Queen, I saw you guys earlier. I don't know what happened. Amara, I saw you all out earlier. I don't know what happened. But if you get to watch this after this, I know a lot of people do catching up because of the time clash. Initially we were doing 9 p.m. because of the time change now. Nigeria is 8 p.m. And I know someone said at times they are still living parties. They are still living parties and all that. But when you watch and catch up later, make sure you take a thing or two from the both of them. But most importantly, take note of the fact that they are better where they are right now. They didn't give up on each other. They fought for each other, and they are on the other side of the challenges now. So take note of that. And again, put God at the center of it, like Jadisi said. Always put it in prayer. There's nothing you cannot pray about. You know, there's nothing God is tired of hearing. So always, always, always take it back to God. Thank you for joining. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. Thank you for catching up, whichever one you're going to do later. I appreciate each and every one of you. My name is still Odun Kerele, and I'm going to see you again pretty soon. Thank you. God bless you. Bye.